Hey guys, what's happening? Vega here from Serpent X Special Forces, and today I want to talk to you about the Z390 Taichi Ultimate from Asrock. Now, I'm not going to be talking about specs or testing it just yet. Obviously, there's a number of reasons why, but I just wanted to kind of maybe do an unboxing and show you some of the features that the Taichi shows. And here on the side you can see that, you know, they're just basically talking about the 10 gigabyte Ethernet, because this thing comes with 3 Ethernet ports, the 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, the USB 3.1 Gen 2 10 gigabytes per second, and then 3 M.2 NVMe's, you know, Gen 3 by 4 32 gigabytes. But this is a lot better than the Z270 Taichi motherboard that I had. So let's open it up and dive right in, take a look at it. This thing is huge. Look how thick this thing is. There's all the features on the back there. You can see that. Triple M.2, which also came on the Z270 series, at least from Asrock. 12 power phase design, 10 gigabyte again, 802.11 AC Wi-Fi. This one, the Z270 board, definitely didn't have the USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type C for the front. And, you know, that's pretty much it. I mean, let's see how big this guy is. But I'm excited. I'm excited to find out what, you know, basically if you have a Z370 board, you can upgrade to the new 9000 CPU no problem. Actually, there's 2 boxes in here. Nice. Ooh, that does look pretty cool. See if I can stand that up for you. Man, that's a pretty nice cooling on the VRMs. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. What's the second box? This is all... Oh, yep. That's what I thought. Alright, so I guess I can leave this back here in case you want to look at it. I don't know if you can see it from back there. These are all the accessories. So it obviously comes with 2 manuals, CD, which nobody really uses anymore. What is that? Some type of card, but I guess it's a way for you to say thank you to them. Sticker with the CD. Manual is going to come in helpful, but if you're pretty good at putting together a computer, you can pretty much figure out the front panel connectors pretty easily, especially on these newer boards. So it's not necessary. Let's put that back in over here. And then on the other side, we should have everything else. Yep, so rear I/O shield, high bandwidth bridge, M.2 screws. Speaking of which, I need to find my other ones. There's 3 of them, 3 M.2 screws. This is the wireless antenna. It gives you a little sticky Velcro that you could just, you know, stick on the wall. Some SATA cables, 2 sets of SATA cables. So that should be plenty blacked out, of course, to match the build. So everything you need to get up and running. A lot of the stuff that I have on my Z270 board I'm just going to carry over, but the M.2 screws, which is I was just saying that I need to look for them, I do need to keep with the motherboard, so that way when I sell it, because the Z270 and the delidded 7700K is up for grabs. So this is zip tied in here, but there's the board. So let's talk about this board real quick. So Asrock, a lot of people don't give them a lot of credit, but they actually got some pretty good boards. I've been dealing with them since Z77, back when Sandy Bridge was around, and personally I like them just fine. They're pretty good and pretty solid boards, pretty good solid overclocking capabilities. I mean, even some exotic overclockers or people who use exotic cooling extreme overclockers basically use this on LN2 or these type of boards. I would say that Asrock is definitely grown in the space. I mean, apparently enough that they're selling graphics cards now, so they obviously made a name for themselves and doing pretty good. But you got about 8 fan headers on this, which comes perfect with my system, because on my previous system I only had 6, and I have more fans than that. If you count the CPU, then you really only have 7 fan headers. Same thing for the Z270. If you count the CPU, I only had 5, and I have 6 fans. I'm going to have more in my new system, which I will show to you later. But you know, you got 3 PCIe lanes, you know, by 16 for graphics card. Of course, when you have 2 populated, that's by 8 each. And then you have to account, if you're going to fill up all your M.2 slots, how the lanes are going to be split, and to get you the full bandwidth and all that good stuff, because you only got 16 from the CPU. Of course, the motherboard has some lanes that you can share as well, but you want to make sure that any devices that are connecting to the CPU or talking directly to the CPU are going to get the best bandwidth, or the most bandwidth, I guess you could say. So I only got 1 graphics card, so I don't have to worry about that. But if you get like a sound card or a capture card, then you need to take that into consideration, or even a SSD, like an Optane drive or something that isn't NVMe. Take that into account. This is pretty new. There's a... Ooh, I found it. See if I can grab it. Yeah. I don't know why everybody likes that. Anyways, heat sinks are pretty beefy compared to the Z270. I mean, I didn't bother upgrading to the 8700K or the 8086. And realistically, people who have the Z370 can just take their CPU, get these new motherboards, and upgrade very easily. No problem. I'll probably have a BIOS update. That's about it. But these boards are pretty legit. You know, there shouldn't be too much different between the Z370 and now, but there might be some features, don't quote me on it, some feature implementations that might be a little bit different to try to, you know how Intel is, you know, it may be minuscule or very small changes, but some of those changes you know, have willing participants that are willing to upgrade the entire systems from generation to generation. Now, I'm not doing the same thing. Even though the 7700K is perfectly capable, 4-core 8 threads, I can overclock it to 5.3 gigahertz like a beast. I wouldn't run that 24/7. I run 5 gigahertz 24/7, and it still runs cool, great, because it's delidded. But streaming and rendering and multitasking, and you start to see the limit of those CPUs. So I thought it was time to upgrade. I'm going to sell it anyway, so we should be able to make up for the cost, because the CPU that I will be getting is the 9900K, which I will be doing a review on that later on. Obviously, I don't have any information I could provide at the moment, because I don't have the CPU, and if I did have the CPU, I couldn't talk about it anyways. Or if I talked about it, I couldn't provide any performance numbers. But I do look forward to this new system. I'll show you the final product and give you some numbers and benchmarks, so stay tuned for that. But this motherboard is pretty legit. It's going to match my theme pretty good. I'm thinking about getting some cable mod extension cables, or whatever people recommend, end source. Try to get some real stuff. They got your reset and power buttons down here. You got your debug LED. It doesn't have the MSI, you know, LED readout, unfortunately. But debug LED is all I really need to see the problems or hear the problems, because, you know, motherboards beep and you can kind of diagnose from there. You don't really need a debug LED, but some people like to have it. So your power, you got your 24 pin, you got your 8 plus 4 up there. Most of the fan headers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down here, and 8 right there. You have RGB headers. So in this system, there's 2 down here, and the gray one I think is 12 volt. Excuse me. So there's 2 new 12 volt RGB headers, and then the original gray 3-pin headers for original RGB or lighting effects. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really an RGB enthusiast. The motherboard, especially around this Taichi emblem, does light up. Apparently right here lights up, right here, so I'll show everything running later. But They changed it from the white and black to the gray and blackish, kind of like gray silver black. So I think that's pretty good move. A little bit more monochrome, not too splashy or flashy, I guess you could say. Components look pretty good. Got quality. There's 2 USB 3.0 headers here. They said there's 2 USB 2.0 headers, but I only see 1, which is what is confusing me. On the website it said there was 2, but I'm only seeing 1 right here. That's it. So I don't know where the second one is, unless you can convert a 3 to a 2, but that's kind of pointless. But we should be alright. Only thing I would be plugging in, because the front panel connectors on the new case that I'll show you is all I need is I don't need a USB 2.0 for the front on compared to my old case. So I can use this just for the Corsair, all-in-one liquid cooler. I will be keeping that one until I go custom, but that won't be for a while because I spent a heap of money on the new components, so I gotta wait a little bit. Otherwise, my fiance, my wife, will absolutely kill me. Anyways, or my soon-to-be wife. This is the Asrock Z390 Taichi motherboard. I mean, it looks good. It's got good components. It should be an extreme overclocker. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Realistically, I mean, Intel hasn't really come out with anything. I mean, they come out with plenty of CPUs, but they're stuck on the 14 nanometer. They've been on 14 nanometer since Broadwell, since 2014. So it's been 4 years. I mean, AMD's getting back into the space with their competition. I mean, the latest Ryzen 2000 series is on Ryzen 2700X and 2600X is on 12 nanometer. So Intel has been playing around with 10 nanometer, and they're kind of falling back in the game. And when Ryzen came with all these thread counts, they needed to step it up. And right now they're trying to put more effort into or more production into the 14 nanometer process, which I think is not a good move, but that's the only move they can do right now until they get things squared away. Realistically, with AMD on the heels in the CPU space of Intel, they're doing really good with budget CPUs, but they're going to be approaching 7 nanometers soon, maybe 2019, mid, late, I don't know. Read the news, read the rumors, whatever you want. But AMD is going to be coming out with 7 nanometer, and if Intel doesn't respond soon, I think, or I believe, with that process shrink, that AMD is going to be able to catch up to Intel because of that process shrink. So their instructions per clock, which Intel has been king at, may see a little bit more of a challenge in there. Yeah, the 9900K is going to be good at single, instructions per clock. It's going to be multi-core, 8-core, 16 threads. But with AMD coming out with their new process sometime in 2019, I think we're going to see some heavy competition in the CPU area. And hopefully in the GPU area, if they get to apply that same technology to their GPUs, that would be absolutely great. But I just wanted to show you the Asrock Z390 Taichi motherboard, nothing too special. I will be coming with more information once I get the system built and get it put together and all that good stuff. So stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, comment below, all that good stuff. I'm just gonna have to hang tight. Unfortunately, my hands are tied until the NDA lifts, and even if the NDA lifts, my sample is not ready or not here yet. So I'm stuck like Chuck, but no worries. There'll be plenty of reviews out in a couple of days on the 19th, in 2 days. Because today is the 17th. You should be able to get plenty of information and reviews to make an informed buy or be informed to make a good judgment call. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend upgrading or buying anything without or pre-ordering anything without hearing the reviews first. Certainly, I made that decision because I want to help the community in any form, fashion, or way. And if my information can help somebody, then I did my job. That's all I really care about. That's what this channel is all about. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. I'm out.